Do you know Lee Si-young? You might have seen her in popular dramas like Boys Over Flowers or Sweet Home. Or perhaps you've come across her hilarious social media videos, where she often appears with a guy who many mistakenly thought was her husband, but he's actually a production company CEO. Did you know that she recently got divorced and is now pregnant with her second child, post-divorce? And did you know that this has sparked a massive wave of controversy in the K-entertainment world? Lee Si-young, a prominent South Korean actress and former professional boxer, has found herself at the center of a significant personal and public controversy in 2025, revolving around her divorce, subsequent pregnancy, and the reactions involved. This report provides a comprehensive overview of the events, drawing from recent news articles and public statements to ensure a thorough understanding of the situation as of July 11, 2025. Lee Si-young, born in 1982, is widely recognized for her acting career, with notable roles in Korean dramas, and her past as an amateur boxer, including attempts to represent Korea in international competitions. Lee Si-young divorce confirmation. On March 17, 2025, Lee Si-young's agency, Ace Factory, confirmed the news of her divorce from Cho Seong-hyun, stating, "They have mutually agreed to part ways and are currently proceeding with the divorce process." This announcement marked the end of their 8-year marriage and set the stage for subsequent events. The divorce was described as amicable, with both parties agreeing to the separation, as reported by various Korean media outlets. On July 8, 2025, Lee Si-young made a surprising announcement via her social media, revealing she was pregnant with her second child. This pregnancy was achieved through in vitro fertilization, or IVF, using a frozen embryo created during her marriage to Cho Seong-hyun. She explained that the embryo's storage period was nearing its expiration, prompting her to proceed with the implantation. In her statement, she noted, "Although the other party did not agree, I chose to proceed and will carry the full weight of that decision," indicating a lack of consent from her ex-husband. This method of conception, using a frozen embryo post-divorce, is a rare and complex scenario, raising legal, ethical, and emotional questions. The use of IVF and frozen embryos is a common practice in fertility treatments, but the context of a divorce adds layers of controversy, particularly regarding consent and ownership of the embryos. The reaction of Cho Seong-hyun, Lee Si-young's ex-husband, has been a focal point of the controversy. Initially, he did not consent to the use of the embryo, as evidenced by Lee Si-young's own admission. However, subsequent reports, including an all K-pop article from July 9, 2025, quote him as saying, "Even though I was against it, the child now exists. I'll take responsibility as a father." This statement suggests a shift in his stance, acknowledging the reality of the pregnancy and his willingness to fulfill parental responsibilities. This reaction was further detailed in a YouTube video on comedian Lee Young-jin's channel, where Lee Si-young discussed the situation, providing a personal perspective on the emotional toll. Public and media reaction. The announcement of Lee Si-young's pregnancy without her ex-husband's consent ignited a significant online debate, as reported by All K-pop on July 8, 2025. The public reaction was sharply divided, with several key themes emerging. Support for reproductive autonomy. Many netizens and commentators supported Lee Si-young, arguing that she had the right to make decisions about her body and future, especially given the urgency of the embryo's expiration. They praised her bravery in navigating a complex personal decision post-divorce. Criticism and ethical concerns. Others criticized her for proceeding without consent, raising concerns about the ethical implications of using a jointly created embryo without mutual agreement. This group highlighted potential legal and moral issues, particularly in the context of their recent divorce, questioning whether such actions respect the rights of the other parent. The debate has extended to broader discussions on reproductive rights, co-parenting responsibilities, and the legal framework surrounding frozen embryos in South Korea. Media outlets like All K-pop and Arcade have covered the polarized reactions, with some articles noting the comparison to similar cases internationally, where courts have sometimes ruled on embryo ownership in divorce proceedings. Lee Si-young's emotional response. Adding a personal dimension to the controversy, Lee Si-young appeared on comedian Lee Yong-jin's YouTube channel on July 9, 2025, in a video titled Lee Si-young's Tarot Reading, where she bets her soul. During this appearance, she opened up about her feelings, admitting she was terrified and felt lonely during this period. This emotional disclosure provided insight into the personal impact of the public scrutiny and the weight of her decision, resonating with audiences and adding depth to the narrative. Legal and ethical considerations. The controversy touches on several legal and ethical considerations, particularly regarding the use of frozen embryos post-divorce. In South Korea, the legal framework for embryo ownership and consent in such scenarios is not fully detailed in the provided sources, but international parallels suggest that courts may consider factors like initial agreements, intent at the time of creation, and subsequent changes in circumstances. The lack of consent has been a significant point of contention, with some arguing it violates the ex-husband's rights, while others assert Lee Si-young's autonomy over her reproductive choices. As of July 11, 2025, the controversy surrounding Lee Si-young's divorce, pregnancy, and her ex-husband's reaction continues to unfold, with ongoing public and media discussions. The situation highlights the complexities of modern reproductive technologies and the personal challenges of navigating such decisions in the public eye. Lee Si-young's emotional openness and her ex-husband's willingness to take responsibility suggest a potential path forward, though the debate on ethics and rights is likely to persist. In a world where personal decisions increasingly intersect with public discourse, it's important to approach stories like this with empathy and respect. Every individual has their own values, circumstances, and challenges, especially when it comes to something as sensitive as family, parenthood, and reproductive choices. While the legal and ethical questions are complex and valid, so too is the emotional journey of those involved. In the end, perhaps the most compassionate stance is to remember, live and let live.